At the start of the movie, we saw some kids in a village polishing boots to earn a living. His job shows that Pele's family's financial condition was not good. After doing the job, they start to play football. Football is the most loved game in Brazil as well as in the whole of Europe and South America. Many kids are playing football, and one of the kids playing football is named Deco. Their clothes get dirty because of tackling each other in the game. After playing football, all the kids go back to their homes. Deco's mom notices his dirty clothes and asks him what was he doing before coming to the house. Deco doesn't tell his mom that his clothes get dirty because of playing football. So he lies and tells his mom that on the way coming home after polishing people's shoes he fell into a dirty pothole, and because of that his clothes got dirty. Deco thinks that by lying he can save himself from scolding, but Deco's younger brother tells his mom that Deco is lying. Their clothes got dirty because after polishing strangers' shoes they went to play football. And because of playing football, their clothes got dirty. Deco's mom gets very angry after hearing Deco's lying. She gets angry not because he was lying, but she gets angry because Deco's father was also a football player. One day he got injured while playing football, and that injury ended his football career. Deco's mother is scared because of something like what happened to her husband happened to Deco. She will not be able to tolerate seeing him in such pain, not only in physical pain but also in emotional pain, because of leaving football. Now he is unable to do any job, and Deco's mom is now forced to clean toilets to run their house. Deco and his younger brother also contribute to the expenses of running their households. She is now scared of football, and she doesn't want that Deco plays football and be at such a huge risk. After that, we see that the Football World Cup is also going on that year. On the day when Brazil plays football, everyone in Brazil leaves their work and watches Brazil's World Cup match. That day Brazil lost to Uruguay and the news was heard on the radio. Everyone in the whole country got very angry. Deco is also listening to the radio, and when Brazil loses he starts to cry. That gesture shows how much he was in love with football. Deco then notices that his father was also crying. Seeing his dad crying, he goes near to his father and promises him that one day he will become a professional football player and will help Brazil win the World Cup. Hearing that, his father gets angry and asks him to listen to his mom and stay away from the football as his mother ordered. On the next day, Deco goes with his mom to a house where she works as a maid, and he starts helping his mother with her work. While working, his mother goes outside from the kitchen for some time. Finding the right moment, Deco starts to steal and eat food present in the kitchen. He did that because he doesn't get any good food in his house. After that, some kids who play football come there. These kids start to talk with each other that on some days there will be a football tournament in the village, and whoever wins that tournament get a chance to be in the center football team. Hearing that, Deco gets excited like all of the other kids. In excitement, he says that he will play like his favorite player Pele. Actually, the player's name was Bele and he pronounced it wrong, and the kids start to make fun of him. His mother comes there, and after that, they leave and go home. Before leaving, Deco takes the paper with him in which all the information about the tournament was written. Deco then tells his friend about the tournament. Deco's friends make a team and then they enter the tournament. There those kids from earlier are also present and make fun of Deco. The tournament starts and they name their team Shoeless, but they also don't have similar kits. A kid in the team cuts a bed sheet in his house and makes a dress for other kids. After winning a lot of matches, Deco's team reached the tournament final. In the final, Deco faces those kids who make fun of him and named him Pele because of his wrong pronunciation. Deco gets irritated by them making fun of him. Deco and his team don't have shoes to wear in the final, so they steal some peanut sacks. They sell those peanut sacks, and with that money they get, they buy old shoes to play in the final. There was a problem with these shoes because they were not a perfect fit and were bigger than their sizes. Now the day of the tournament's final has come. They all are on the ground, and when the match is about to start, Deco's name was announced as Pele on the ground, because the other boys write his name as Pele in the tournament to mock him. Deco gets very angry after hearing this. The match is then started and those boys even chant the name Pele to annoy Deco. Deco's team is losing and not performing well because of the oversized shoes, and because of this, they are unable to score any goal. Deco understands that they are not performing well because of the big shoes. So he asks all of his teammates to play without the shoes. After that, the whole situation changed. Deco's team starts to perform well, and after some time Deco's team is ahead in the number of goals as compared to their opponents. Deco played very well in the final, and because of his and his teammates' dedication and skills, they win the final. Deco has performed very well, that's why everyone present there starts to chant his name as Pele. The people present there don't know Deco's real name and they call him Pele because the announcer announces his name wrong, and everyone present there thinks that Deco's name is Pele. Seeing everyone supporting him and loving his skills, Deco gets very happy, and when everyone present there takes his name as Pele, that was the first time Deco doesn't get annoyed by it. Instead of being annoyed, he likes the name Pele and starts to enjoy the moment. Deco's father was present there in the crowd, and seeing his son playing that much good, he gets very happy. After that, those people come there whose peanut sacks were stolen by Deco and his friends to buy shoes. Deco notices those men and they run away from the stadium. That man also sees Deco and his friends, so they run behind them. Deco and his friend run and go near the lake to hide, and somehow they save themselves from those men. They hid in a small cave, but after some time the cave debris starts falling and one of his friends gets stuck under that debris and dies because of suffocation and lack of oxygen. Because of his friend's death, Deco gets very sad and he considers himself the reason behind his friend's death. He thinks that if they haven't competed in the tournament in this way, they didn't have had any need to steal anything to buy shoes for the match, and then his friend would have been alive. After hearing this, his mom hugs him and tries to make him understand that his friend did not die because of him. His death was written like that in his destiny. After that, he promises his mother that now he will become a good son, he will go to school every day, he will become a successful man, and he will never play football ever in his life. The next day, Deco does the same as he promised his mother he would do. He goes to school, and there he also helps to do some work with his father. His father now wants him to play football because his father has seen him playing and he knows that Deco has a lot of skills and he can become a good footballer. After that, Deco's dad takes him to a garden full of mango trees. He tells Deco that he comes to this garden and he practices football there playing with mangoes. He says that for shooting purposes he uses ripe mango, and for balancing practice he uses unripe mango. At first, Deco simply ignores football and his dad. His dad asks him, "Oh, come to play with him," but he doesn't get up. After some time he starts to take interest in the game and he gets up and starts to practice ripe and unripe mangoes. Then the scene shows the time after 12 years. Deco goes to his house and found that a man from the Santos Football Club comes there. He wants Deco to play for Santos Football Club. Deco accepts his offer and then he starts playing football at Santos Football Club. At the club, Deco's performance is not that much great as the other players present. Deco is unable to play like the other players. He thinks that he will never be able to play football like them in his life. Thinking that, Deco decides to leave the club and go to his house. He was at the railway station waiting for the train to go back home. While he was sitting there waiting for the train, the man come there. He was the same one who goes to Deco's house to offer him to play for Santos Club. He asks Deco where he was going. Deco tells him that he was going back home because of the club seeing other players playing that well. He realizes that he cannot match the club's needs, that's why he will go back home and then continue his studies. The man says to Deco that his playing style is very good and old. He tells Deco that when they are captured they save themselves by doing martial arts, and after that the same procedure is applied in the football. That style is known as the Ginga style. In 1950, when Brazil lost the World Cup, everyone thinks that Brazil's style of playing football is very old. That's why the coach wanted him to change his style, but his way of playing football is really beautiful and you should continue with that style. But Deco has to improve some things. If he manages all this, he will be able to show the world his style of playing football is better than every other style in the world. After hearing this, Deco does not go back. Instead of it, he goes back to the Santos Football Club. He continues to play with that Ginga style, and with style, he kept on winning many matches. He has played so well, and because of that he now starts to play in the senior and main teams. With his Ginga style, Santos and Deco kept on winning many tournaments. Because of his playing skills and his style, Deco gets very popular in Brazil for playing football. In the year 1958, Football World Cup is going to happen again, but at that time Deco is only 16 years old, so he has no chance to participate in World Cup. When the team player's name was announced, Deco's name was present there. Hearing this, that Deco is going to play World Cup, Deco himself as well as he gets very happy. Before Deco leaves for the World Cup, Deco visits his family. His father told him that hopes are high for the Brazil team. The people of Brazil are losing hope to win the World Cup because of their loss in 1950. Deco's father tells him that when he plays football he also plays with the same Ginga style, but Deco has something very special that his father doesn't have in his time. After that, his father gives him a t-shirt on which Pele is written. After that, Deco leaves for the World Cup. He is now with all of the other international teams, and his coach calls him and tells him that he had to play this World Cup without playing with Ginga style because in 1950 Brazil lost because they all have played the World Cup in Ginga style. While practicing the match he kept on playing with Ginga style, and because of that his foot get injured. Now there is very little hope that Deco will be able to play World Cup for Brazil. At night he calls his mother and tells her everything. His mother and father get very sad after hearing this because his father also gets injured like that, but his mother asks him to not get sad and tries to recover. The next day doctors tell him that he will be only able to play football in the next season. The team doesn't have any replacement for Deco, and then the news is heard on television that Brazil's player is still playing with the old style, and because of that, they are hurting themselves. The next match is the semi-final, doctor telling Deco to save his foot from any kind of injury. If he doesn't do that, he will not be able to play football again in his life. In the semi-final, they are playing against France. In the first half, France and Brazil both scored one. At halftime, Deco has lost all hope in himself, so he goes to a teammate and asks him to play at this place, but he refuses by saying that he always plays football in European style and now he will play and beat them by using Jenga style. After the halftime match starts, Deco plays with Jenga style and scores a goal. His goal carries his team to the final, and now everyone is very happy because Brazil successfully reached the final with the help of Deco's goal, which has been scored by using Jenga style. In final, Brazil was facing Sweden. At the press conference, the Sweden coach makes fun of Brazil's team and says that the same stuff is going to happen with Brazil that happened in the 1950 N. Brazil's coach gets angry and leaves the press conference. After some time, the coach comes and meets Brazil's team and tells them that he has done what the world saw them playing football like Sweden, so that's why they all have to play in Jenga style. The final started and Sweden's players kept an eye on Deco. They don't allow Deco to have the ball for a long time. After some time, Sweden scored the first goal, and the goal saddened all of Brazil's players and citizens. In reply to that, Deco dribbles the ball very well and scores a goal. In this way, both countries have one goal. After some time, Deco scores another goal, then another, and like that he kept on scoring goals one by one. Because of Deco, Brazil for the first time won the World Cup. Everyone in Brazil was very happy because Deco is known as Pelé, and Jenga style also gets very famous in the football world. After that, we get to see the real videos and photos of Pelé, in which we get to know that in 1961 Brazil's president announces Pelé as their national treasure. Everyone is also president and the whole country is proud of Pelé. Pelé has become the first who has scored and won the World Cup at the age of 17 years. Because Pelé, Brazil also won the 1962 and 1970 World Cups after winning the 1961 World Cup. The movie ends here.